Shalom, about the Hebrew Israelites come out here week in and week out to prophesy about the up and coming calamities of this world to come. Okay, we'd like to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Kodash, and through the Spirit of the Lord in His name, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua. You know, we're going to continue to teach this word, instant, in season, and out of season. Okay, now we in the time of summer now. All right, we just made it through the winter. Now we in summertime now. Okay.
Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 21.
Yep.
Do not abhor us for thy name's sake.
Right, do not avoid us. That's what the word abhor means. The word abhor means to avoid. It don't mean to hate. Like when you read the book of Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 7, it talks about how you're not supposed to abhor an Edomite, which that's really the wrong, that's the wrong saying of that. Because when you really check it out, the actual term for Edom or Esau, that's in that particular chapter, that particular verse, excuse me, it should be Assyrian. And the proof of that is the fact that because those people, the Assyrians were known as the people of Aram. So the word there should be Assyrian. All right, that's a clerical error. But the word, going back to the point, the word abhor means to avoid. All right, so what the Lord is saying, don't avoid the covenant that He made with our forefathers. Go on.
For thy name's sake, do not disgrace thy throne.
Right, do not disgrace thy throne for thy glory. Because if the Lord was to do away with Israel and not fulfill the covenant which He established with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then that would then destroy His name. All right, that would prove that He's a corruptible power, which He is not a corruptible power. And the proof of that is the fact that the Lord is a man of His word, and He will fulfill that as of His word. Okay, so the covenant will definitely be fulfilled. So let's keep going.
Remember, break not thy covenant with us.
All right.
Are there any among the vanities of the Gentiles that can cause rain?
Right.
Or can the heavens give showers? Art not thou He, O Yahweh, our power?
Right.
Therefore we will wait upon thee, for thou hast made all these things.
Right, for thou hast made all these things. So the same power that created everything in its existence, okay, He's going to fulfill what you would call the covenant again. And that covenant only goes to Israelites. So you got guys like Vocab alone that's pretty much crying inside. Or crying behind, behind the camera. When the camera's up, I mean to say. And he's trying to merge himself in the salvation. Talking about, this Sicilian blood is much more thicker than his German blood. Alright? And that's what he's trying to do because he knows what we're saying is true. That's why he's all brokenhearted, as you can see. Yeah, because he knows that there's a high chance that he's not going to be saved. He's just going to be destroyed. Okay? Go on, brother. Yeah. And you got a lot of people too, and speaking of the Christian church, the so-called Christian church, as I like to call it, because they're so-called Christians. They're self-styled so-called. They're not the actual Christians. Right? Because in order for you to be a true Christian, you'd have to be anointed. And the only men that can be anointed are those that are Israelites. All right? So that's the whole thing. The whole thing in the matter is that they're not under the covenant. And they're not the anointed ones. We're the only ones that can be anointed. Okay, and that's just the whole ordeal. Go on, brother.
Verse 22. And are there any among the vanities of the Gentiles that can cause rain? Or can the heavens give showers? Art not thou He, O Yahweh, our power? Therefore we will wait upon thee.
Right, we will wait upon Him. Give me that. Hold what you got. Give me Zephaniah 3:8.
Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey.
That's what we're doing here. We're out here to wait upon the Lord. Because really, if it was up to us, we would really like to start bashing these skulls out here. With these people out here. I'm just saying, if it was really up to us. Right? If the Most High gives us the spiritual power, all of these people out here, I'm just saying, man, there'll be blood all over the place, man. But the Lord told us to wait upon Him and not to get carnal. Because the real men of God, man, they ain't for this kingdom. They're not dealing with this wicked system. Right? They ain't with the people. They ain't down with this bullshit, man. Okay? That's just the whole thing. And what these people are gonna find out when the angels of God come around, there's gonna be just that blood all over the place. Okay, that's just what it's gonna be. And we just bringing you the truth as we always do on the YouTube on the forefront. Alright, we're not hiding anything, and these Edomites, these so-called Europeans, they're going right into slavery too, by the way. Okay? These so-called civilized Edomites, they're going right into slavery. But before all of that happens, what's going to happen is this society is going to be destroyed little by little to the point of no return. And then that's going to happen. But we're sticking onto this topic right here. So let's read this.
Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord,
right,
until the day that I rise up to the prey.
And that's what we're doing, waiting upon the Lord. Because once the Lord comes and returns, then we'll be given the green light to pretty much regulate these motherfuckers out there. Right? And to show these people that we ain't playing around, man. Okay, there's gonna come a time where all hell is gonna, the floodgates of hell are gonna break through the system. Okay, it ain't gonna be no dancing around acting silly out here. Getting in front of the camera, because see, like I said before, the Most High is recording everything that's happening within this realm. So any Edomite that want to come up here and act silly and act stupid, or any Jake for that matter, the Most High got his number already, and he's already going to be preserved for his destruction. Alright? And I'm just saying that because some stupid Edomite came around pretty much acting stupid. But that's how you're going to get, because I noticed when the sun come out, yeah, that's when these Edomites they really start to act like the animals that they really are. Right? It's always when the sun come out. When the sun come out, that's when these devils really release how they truly feel. Their animal ways. Okay? And I'm talking about these Edomites, man, which is the so-called Europeans. I call them the Edomites, because that's their biblical nationality. I'm gonna say it again, when the sun come out, they always show their animalistic ways, man. Because they're fucking animals, man. They're filthy friggin' animals is what they are. So let's read this.
For my determination is to gather the nations,
right,
that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation.
And that's what the Lord is going to do. The Lord is going to gather all of these nations together and destroy them at once. And that's when you're going to get that nuclear war. So once that's all said and done, then the covenant, let's go back to Jeremiah 14, bro. Once that's all said and done, then the covenant is going to be fulfilled. The covenant of who? The covenant of the Israelites. The so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, and Native American Indians. And a part of the covenant is that we're going to go right back home to our land. We just get Israel there. Right? We're going to come out of England, we're going to come out of America, we're going to come out of all these different regions that we will put to shame. We scattered them. We're going to get out all of these lands and we're going to go all the way back to Israel. Alright? But before we go back there, what's going to happen is that war, this nuclear war, is going to clean us off that land and get all of these stinking people out of that land. And then we're going to come back in there and we're going to build the kingdom from the ground on up. Alright, there ain't going to be no stone left. Okay? Anyway, read that book.
Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 21.
Yep.
Do not abhor us for thy name's sake.
Right.
Do not disgrace thy throne of thy glory.
Right, do not disgrace the throne of thy glory. So in order for the Lord to show his glory, is by fulfilling exactly what he said. Okay, and the main thing he's going to fulfill, which is going to make him look more glorious, is to fulfill the covenant, which goes all the way back to our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that knocks out the whole idea that anybody can be saved and anybody can get a for the salvation. That's not in the Bible. The only people that can get saved, that can be born again, let me put it that way, are the Israelites. Okay, if you're not an Israelite, you can't be born again. You can't be saved. Alright, you're not going to be saved. Let me just put it that way. Alright? Let's read that.
Remember, break not thy covenant with us. Are these any among the vanities of the Gentiles that can cause rain, or can the heavens give showers?
Say what, brother, come over here. Water. Come on.
Are these any among the vanities of the Gentiles that can cause rain, or can the heavens give showers? Art not thou he O Lord, our power. Therefore we will wait upon thee, for thou hast made all these things.
Right. So that's what we're doing. We're going to wait upon the Lord. Now what we're going to do, brother, is give me the book of Ezekiel 16 and 60. This is all about the covenant, man. This ain't about anything else other than that. The people that are under the covenant, those are the people that are going to be saved. And we so happen to be under the covenant. Okay? So when we read this Bible and we gain understanding of this Bible, which we didn't have to go to no theologian school or no seminary friggin' school at all. The Lord gave us the wisdom and understanding to read this book, and now we're bringing it out to you. Because the Lord ain't dealing with these seminary schools or whatever school you want to deal with. That the so-called white man system, the Lord ain't dealing with all of that. So all of these people that come from university and proclaimed what is well-versed or schooled in the Bible, they don't even know what they're talking about. Because they're only going by this revival of, Roman Catholic way of doctrine. That's what they're going with. The Bible ain't dealing with that nonsense. So let's read that.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 60.
All right.
Nevertheless, I will remember my covenant with thee in the days of thy youth.
Right, in the days of thy youth. Who is he talking about? Let's read that again, brother.
Nevertheless, I will remember my covenant with thee.
So it's all about the covenant. The Lord said he will remember his covenant among us. Which the covenant went all the way back again to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are the only 3 sons, and then all the way down to the 12 sons. So those are the 4 sons that were able to receive the covenant. Okay, it's all about those that have the covenant. If you don't have if your people don't have the covenant, you're not going to be saved. Okay, this is what we're reading here. Go on, bro. And the reason why the pastors are going to tell you otherwise because they got money to make, man. These pastors and these different religious leaders, or let's just say imams even included in that, they got money to make, man. They're not gonna say, oh yeah, you can't make it and you can't make it, because they got mouths to feed and they got to maintain a lavish lifestyle. So they're gonna lie to you all day, every day. Okay, but we're not gonna lie to you. We're gonna tell you what this Bible is saying for truth's sake. Because ultimately, if we lie, if we use this book and we lie and we pervert the doctrine, we're gonna be destroyed. We got to meet our maker. And we ain't trying to meet our maker like that. Go on.
Verse 60, nevertheless will I remember my covenant with thee in the days of thy youth.
Right.
And I will establish unto thee an everlasting covenant.
Right, and he will establish unto us an everlasting covenant. Because you got to understand, when you dive into the New Testament, and you understand what the Israelites were doing all around, they kept on breaking the covenant. And that's why the Most High had to hold the covenant back. That's why we had to go from captivity to captivity. Okay? But in due time when the Messiah returns, that's when the covenant is going to be fulfilled. So what we're going to do is keep reading on.
Verse 61, then thou shalt remember thy ways and be ashamed.
Right.
When thou shalt receive thy sisters, thine elder and thy younger, and I will give them unto thee for daughters, but not for the covenant. And I will establish my covenant with thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord.
Right, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord, man. Because you're going to have a portion of our people that's going to be ashamed. It tells you that Daniel 12. Because they forsook the covenant, 2/3, and went their own way. Okay? But like I said, it's going to come a time where the Lord, he's going to send his son down, the begotten son, the Holy Spirit down here, to bring us back to the covenant. This is why we're teaching the doctrine of the ministry of the reconcilement of Israel. Oh, what you got, brother? Give me that in 2 Corinthians chapter in 19. So there's no loophole underneath and there's no loophole above. It is what it is. And that's the reason why you have these Christian churches. They're there and they're set up to mislead the masses of the people in the wrong direction. And then on top of that, they got mouths to feed, man. Come on.
2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 19.
Yeah.
Verse 18. And all things are of the Most High, who
right.
hath reconciled us
Right.
to himself
He hath reconciled us to himself on,
by Yahweh Shai, and hath given us to the ministry of reconciliation.
and have given us the ministry of his reconciliation. So let's deal with the reconciliation. Who can only but receive the reconciliation? Those that was given the ability to be adopted as sons. If we hold that, if we Romans 9. You know what I want. Alright? As you Christians, man, the reason why it seems as though you got the truth because you've been teaching your nonsense for the past centuries now. And now that lie is being destroyed. And now the truth is coming out into the what is it? Alright? The truth is coming out. And in front of it all, and it's all being declared who's got the truth now. Okay? That's the whole thing we're recording, brother. Oh man, we're recording something, man. If you got something to say.
I want to do a few points there.
You a Christian? Yeah, he don't want to be bothered, man. Go on.
Romans 9 verse 27,
Yeah.
Isaiah also crieth concerning Israel,
Alright.
though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea,
Right. He is the son of the sea on.
a remnant shall be saved. For he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness,
Yep.
because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth.
Okay, go on.
And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth had left us a seed.
And that don't mean that the Lord is the Lord is the Lord of the Sabbath, man. It don't mean that. Sabaoth means he is the Lord of the armies, or the Lord of hosts. That's what that means. Come on.
And it says, as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth left us a seed, we had been as Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah.
Go ahead.
What shall we say then? That the Gentiles which followed after righteousness,
Right, which is the Israelites. The Israelite foreigners. Those are the Gentiles that follow after righteousness. Because it tells you in the book of Romans, chapter, what is it, man? Chapter 10. If you could give me that, brother, you know when it talks about how, what is it, man? How Israel have a zeal, but not according to knowledge.
yeah, Romans chapter 10 verse 2, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High,
Right.
but not according to knowledge.
Right, exactly. That's the connection right there. So when we go back to Romans 9, let's read Romans 9 now.
Romans 9 verse 28, for he will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness,
Yeah.
because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth.
Okay.
And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabaoth has blessed us a seed,
Right.
we had been as Sodom
In
and
other words,
been like unto Gomorrah.
right. In other words, if there was no remnant or the righteous, then we would all be cut off for good. Like Sodom and Gomorrah was cut off for good. So what we're dealing with is we're reverting back to the topic I have, which is the covenant. And this is something that all you Christian nutcases out there cannot deny. You cannot deny the covenant. Because if everybody can be saved, right, then everybody will be under the covenant. Their nation will be listed under the covenant. But that's not the case in this Bible. The only nation that's listed under the covenant is the Israelites. That's it. Go on.
What shall we say then? That the Gentiles were followed not after righteousness, have attained to righteousness,
Yeah.
even the righteousness which is of faith.
Okay.
But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, have not attained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith,
Right, because they sought it not by faith. Go on.
but as it were by the works of the law, for they stumbled at the stumbling stone.
Right, so drop that, brother. Give me the verse that talks about the adoption of sons, Romans 9. Because that's the reconcilement. The reconcilement is that we as sons can be adopted back to the Messiah. That's the reconcilement. That's what this ministry is all about. Bringing Israel back to their original state, back to their power. Who are the Israelites? The so-called blacks, the so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native American Indians. They're the Israelites that the Bible talks about. And those that may, offspring from those people. Those that are offspring from those people can only receive that which is of the covenant. Go on.
Romans chapter 9 verse 4, who are Israelites, to
Alright.
whom pertaineth the adoption.
Right, who pertain of the adoption. The word pertain, which means to belong unto. Okay, go on.
And the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law
and the glory and the covenants, going back to the covenants again, and the giving of the law, go on,
and the service of the Most High and the promises, whose are the fathers, of whom, as concerning the flesh,
Christ came.
Yahushua came.
Exactly. He
Who
said
is
it better than
over
me.
all.
Who's over all. So whoever flesh Yahushua came, that's who he's going to redeem. Those that are under the covenant, those that are under the Abrahamic covenant. All right? So we can't include Edomites, we can't include East Indians, we can no longer include the Hamites and all of these other nations that the Lord created. We have to only include the Israelites. Okay? And this is why you don't see Edomites standing out here like what we do. You don't see heathens standing out here like what we do. Because the scriptures don't match with them. Alright? But all you're gonna see is Israelites. Now you might see a brother that look like an Edomite in the camp, but he's not an Edomite, he's an Israelite. And that's for you to perceive that, if you can perceive that. Go on.
It says, not as though the word of the Most High have taken none effect.
Okay.
For they that are not all Israel, which are of Israel.
In other words, what that's talking about is you have the Israelites of the Most High, and then you have those that are not of Israel.
You can see it from their side.
That's all I wanted, brother. Go back to what you had before.
I was in Romans 9.
I think it was in Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 15. That's what this is all about. This is all about the reconcilement of Israel, going back to the Most High. That's what it's all about. Okay? No other nation can be saved other than the Israelites. Alright, and that's something that you're going to have to eat up, vocab, and you other Christian demons out there. Go on. 15. We just read it before. 19. 2 Corinthians 15 and 19.
First Corinthians 15. First Corinthians chapter 15, verse 19. I don't think it's that.
Try 2 Corinthians. 15.
Yeah, there we go. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 19. To wit, that the Most High was in Yahushua, reconciling the world unto himself.
So it says reconciling the world unto himself. So does this actually mean that the whole world can be reconciled? No, let's gain some understanding here. What you got? Give me Isaiah 40 and 15. You got to get some understanding. You can't just read this, oh, the Lord came for the world. No, he didn't come from the actual entire world. Let's get the precept. Isaiah 40 and 15.
Isaiah chapter 40, verse 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles.
Actually, drop that. Give me Isaiah 45, verse 17. This is 45, verse 17.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
Go on.
He shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end.
That's the world that he's going to reconcile. Now let's go back to what we have before. 2 Corinthians, 5 and 19. Yep.
2 Corinthians 5, verse 19. To wit, that the Most High was in Yahushua, reconciling the world unto himself.
Right, reconciling the world to himself. In other words, he's reconciling the world of Israel back unto himself. This is a nation that he created for himself, and only for himself only. So I'll tell you what we do, brother. Hold that. I'll give me Deuteronomy 7 and 6, and we're going to read all the way down to 8.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Yep.
The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So let's rerun that again.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power.
Alright.
And the Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
The Lord created us to be a special people unto himself. So the same world that he's going to reconcile unto himself is the same people that he created for himself. So why would he then reconcile the actual world? Because if it was the actual world, the word there in the Greek would be onklemene, which means the whole inhabitants of the earth. So when we go into the Greek word, what do we find out? We find out that the word is cosmos, which means an arrangement of stars. And the Lord likens the Israelites as the stars of heaven. Okay, go on.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth, the Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest among all people. But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn.
Now we're going all the way back to the covenant now. Let's look up that word oath, brother. I guarantee you, and I'm quite confident that it will lead back to the covenant. Because there was an oath that was kept between the Most High and Israel. So what we understand is that the true Christians that, well, let me say it this way, that are capable, the true people that are capable of being Christians are only Israelites. So if you're of another nation, you can't be a Christian. Alright, if you're a so-called, let's just say, so-called white person, right? Pure blood. Or a so-called East African. Pure blood. Right? Or you're a so-called East Indian, pure blood. So-called Arab, pure blood. You cannot be a Christian. You cannot in any wise be a Christian. Okay? And this is what we're publicating on the streets. And on the YouTube too. Okay? And if you don't like what we're saying, then that's just too bad. Because all of you other nations, you had your world, you had your time to shine. Now we got ours now. You can't get involved in that. And it wouldn't be right if y'all got involved in that. Okay? So when we're talking about people that need these things, these beautiful things that involves our world that we're going to get, we deserve all of that. Because we went through the most hell in this society and above all societies that we were under. So we deserve to get what's coming for us. Okay, so nobody can't get saved, only the Israelites.
The word there, we're doing special. And the word there for oath, it's like this logo. The word oath there is H7621 Shaba'ah, which means it just says oath.
Oh, it's just oath. It's oath. Well, it can only but revert back to the covenant. The covenant is likened unto an oath. So the Most High is not going to just annualize the oath or the covenant.
Okay, here, yeah, but oath means something sworn, curse, oath, pertaining with, what is that? Romans 9 we just read, right? Go on. So that's it, that's what it's called.
Alright, so the oath or the covenant pertaineth unto Israel. That's all that matters. Okay, I mean, right now, it stands. If you look at what's going on right now, this society that we're under right now, what society are we under right now? We're under the Roman Empire, where the Roman people are ruling right now. Okay, we don't have no part of this society. Now, the media will have you believe that we do, but we don't. Okay, the portion of the society that we have as Jakes in this kingdom is to be employers or servants. So this belongs unto them. So it's like the next world. When the next world is in effect, everything that involves the next world, which is the kingdom of heaven, which is our world, is going to belong unto us, including that which is of the covenant. Okay, go on, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen.
Right, exactly.
From the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
And that's what he did back during those times. What is it? We're talking almost 4,000 years ago. And that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen right now. Give me that in the book of Isaiah 11, brother. There's going to be another Exodus or another salvation that's going to come. Because we're in what you would call modern day Egypt. All right? In other words, the house of, the house of bondage for the Israelites. So in this revival of this Roman system, we're in captivity right now. Okay? This is why when you look at the different class sects of the Western Empire, when we're dealing with the lower class sect, Jake filled up all of that. Jake fills up the lower class sect, or what you would call the working class. So that would conclude that the Israelites are in slavery today. They're under that curse pursuant to Deuteronomy 28. Them so-called Jews in the land of Israel today, they're not under that. They're not going through that situation. They run pretty much the most important things that make up this world. They even run the diamond district. Many other natural resources that are rich, they run all of that. So how could they be in captivity? Okay, go on, brother.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 11.
Because if they were really the real Jews, they would be experiencing what we're experiencing as a people, but they're not. Okay, go on.
Isaiah 11 and 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people.
So there's going to be another Exodus. Go on.
Which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Paphros and from Cush
and from Cush, go on.
And from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea.
Right, exactly. So that's exactly what's going to happen all over again. So what we can do, brother, hold what you got, give me Jeremiah 16 now. Believe you can give me Jeremiah 16 verse 14.
Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said that the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel.
So who are the children of Israel? The so-called black man, the so-called Latino man, and the so-called Native American man. That's the Israelites right now. And that's something that the powers that be, they notice. I'm not talking about just sitting around, I'm not picking up people. All right, I'm talking about the Rothschilds, I'm talking about the Rockefellers, I'm talking about the DuPonts and all of these powerful figures. They know exactly who we are.